You can't live in this world today and not be curious. In fact, if ever there was a time to hear from more than the usual suspects, it's now. This is the Carlos Watson Show. Maybe we'll surprise you. Maybe you'll be mad at us sometimes, or inspired. Not only do I hope people will see more with the show, but I hope they'll do more and be more. People, the good stuff starts now.
I grew up with animals, so I'm an animal.
She put the B in building a multi-million-dollar brand. That title is so good, that's worth $1 billion.
I couldn't afford a taxi downtown in New York, so I had to sort of be scrappy.
You use the word throw down, so you're clearly someone who likes to mix it up a little bit.
It doesn't matter where I am or what happens, I figure it out.
All right, when did you know that Real Housewives was going to be a hit?
I suck at relationships, so you don't have to.
And my prediction for Bethenny's next big shot.
You sound like a fortune teller. I'm liking this. You're like a psychic.
Yeah, I got a little fortune teller in me. Hey, Bethenny Frankel, thank you for joining us on the show.
Thank you.
Hey, what have you been up to amidst COVID? Where have you just been hunkered down? Have you kind of changed your whole life and the way you think about things? What's COVID done to you?
I have been mostly in the Hamptons, which it's becoming a lot of what people really want to be doing or who they authentically are, because for me, it's not very dissimilar to what I really am like. I mean, I have a very unconventional, non-traditional way of doing business. So I have been doing HSN from my home. I never loved getting on a plane and being in the neon lights to sell something. I think it's amazing to sell clothes while being in my house. For me, I'm always just on calls in pajamas and slippers. So that's not really that different. So I'm just getting to be at home, and my daughter, she never ate salad before 3 weeks ago. Because she's cutting tomatoes, she's cutting avocado, she's chopping lettuce with these kids' knives. So she's making salads, she's cooking with me. That you can't learn that in a classroom. I'm finding, but I'm a place of yes person. I figure it doesn't matter where I am or what happens. I figure it out.
So take me all the way back. What were you like? If I had met you in high school, were you quiet? Were you loud?
I hear that I was exactly the same, that I've always been opinionated and always comedy driven. Always just the laugh is the most important, even at the risk of making a mistake or saying something foolish. And drive too, I was driven.
Not that close.
And were your mom and dad had a good sense of humor, or where did you get that from?
My father was a Hall of Fame thoroughbred horse trainer, and he was very unapologetic, very opinionated, very just say whatever came to his mind, and he was extremely driven in a crazy way with horse racing. He was laser focused. And my mother was very smart and definitely a little acerbic and definitely got the joke. She was more like I am in that way. Certainly not Ozzie and Harriet.
The Adventures of Ozzie and Harriet.
That's the most ridiculous thing I ever heard of.
I had a very crazy, tumultuous, non-traditional childhood.
So what were you like in your 20s and 30s? I know you went to NYU and originally I think wanted to be an actor and moved out to LA, but what were you doing? What were you up to in your 20s and 30s?
I was hustling, always, just trying to figure out what I was going to do because I didn't have parents supporting me. I didn't have anything to fall back on. I didn't have any sort of clear path of what this thing looked like. So I was always sort of scrappy and just figuring it out. But there was also a time when I felt like it was time to not be scrappy. And every time, I've never said this before, but every time I would get off of being scrappy and go back to take some sort of regular job that meant like you do this and then you get there and then you move up and you're a little corporate, it just didn't sit well with me. It just wasn't me.
And were you bored in those moments or what was it like when you tried to go the safer, more conventional route?
It just wasn't me. I always had to find my way to punch through the walls and get into some other room. Like that was just different. So I was always using the environment that I was in other ways. So it just wasn't me to be just in some sort of a box.
I regularly hear you being very aware of the fact that you've been blessed and that you're in a privileged place. Is that something that you think about a lot, or where does that come from, your willingness to, because you're more open about it than most people I know who are in a similar sort of situation?
I work really hard, so it's not like I feel like anything's been handed to me or that I'm lucky. I mean, but I also can't believe this is my life. I still can remember, which was only a decade ago, when I couldn't afford a taxi downtown in New York. And I mean, I really couldn't afford a taxi downtown. And I'm not saying I was poverty stricken and begging for money, but that's a big difference from how I live now. And I would be worried if I would be at a group dinner, if it ended up having to get split and people ordered a bunch of drinks or like appetizers and entrees, and that would give me massive anxiety. I wouldn't be able to, if I paid for that, I'd have to charge it and it'd be on my credit card and I couldn't really afford it. And I would bounce checks and have insufficient funds. And so I still remember that. So I can't believe that, even though I feel that I've worked for it, I can't believe that I have this life.
All right, when did you know that Real Housewives was going to be a hit?
Oh my God, when it was a hit. I did not know at all. I didn't want to do it because I had been on The Apprentice, the Martha Stewart Apprentice.
Did you win? Congratulations.
The opportunity came and they kept approaching me and I said no for 2 months to do Housewives. And I thought this will be a bunch of women getting wasted and a train wreck. And I don't want to be on that. I want to be a real natural food chef. And I'd like to get a cooking show, and this will destroy any opportunities I have. I checked in with the producers again because I thought, if it's a failure, no one will hear about it. But if it's a success, I can be a natural food chef and promote that. And so ignorance is bliss. I just started filming it. And once we filmed the first season, I thought that it would become a cultural phenomenon. I did say that. In the beginning, I didn't. But once it got going, I said, this is going to be a cultural phenomenon. And it certainly was.
People call me a fixologist because I make cocktails skinny. It's so easy that everyone will be able to do it by themselves.
This company called Skinnygirl.
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 Can we talk a little Skinnygirl?
We could talk a little Skinnygirl.
So many housewives launched their own products. But your brand, Skinnygirl, seems to be the only one that really exploded.
I was the first person to ever create a low-calorie cocktail marketed to women in a world that is run by men and marketed to men.
So you just sold your company for over $100 million.
But the truth of the matter is business is really difficult and you have to be passionate and driven. You have to have an idea that's innovative. You have to be able to execute, and you can't look to the left or the right to what someone else is doing.
I thought Skinnygirl by itself is worth $1 billion. That title is so good, that's worth $1 billion. Where do you get that from? How did you become good at that kind of packaging?
I have a knack for, I used to want to be a copywriter in an advertising agency. I have a knack for taglines, names of things. They come to me in seconds. I don't know why. I'm an amazing namer of things. I used to have an event company and it just came to me. It should be called In Any Event. I was 14 and my friend's mother said, what do I name a kid's shoe store? And I said, Shoenanigans. Like it came out of my mouth. I'm good at naming things, really, the best.
Are you a good negotiator?
Yeah, I'm a good negotiator because I'm creative about negotiating. Negotiating isn't really just about money. If you can't come to terms in money, what's the other workaround solution to finding some other creative way to get what everybody wants? So I'm excellent at concepts. Skinnygirl, I own the name, I own the girl, I own the logo. What had never ever been done before is someone selling for the numbers that I sold for to a public company just one piece of the pie. So just Skinnygirl cocktails. So they can use the word Skinnygirl only in cocktails. They can use the girl Skinnygirl only in cocktails. So when I was negotiating with them, I was saying, why you only do liquor? You don't need Skinnygirl in jeans and in lip gloss and in bras and in popcorn and in salad dressings. You won't use it. So why would I let you keep something that I can actually make money off of that you won't use? And I promise to be a good partner in these ways. And you have to promise to protect the brand in these ways because I'm still going to own it. And so take what the piece you want. So that was unique because that's a creative way to do a deal versus being black and white and focusing only on the money. The money's not the most important part of a deal.
How much of that do you think is gender related? I've heard you talk before about men and women, and I love that conversation you had with Sway on the radio, where he kind of initiated you into kind of the bro code.
Yes.
I think that men have the ability that we wish we had more to work the burners. Men can be running games. You have your stove, you got one, this is about women. You have 6 different women going. You got one on boiling, one is simmering, one you might take off, you're over that one, but you're always running game. And women, because you could be loving a woman and making her feel so great and the next day say the same thing to somebody else and she feels great. And women don't have the capability to work the burners as well. And believe me, I'll die trying.
But how much is your ability to be creative about negotiating and kind of think about the whole picture, not just part of the picture?
So I don't think like that. Like, I just don't think like what I got because I was a woman, what I didn't because I was a man. I don't. And I know that women want to hear me say that, but I don't. I think I'm tactical and strategic, and you usually don't know why these things are. It's just all speculation. I think because I grew up in a really fucked up household and a childhood and grew up at the racetrack, and me gambling and betting at 13 years old at a craps table, and me gambling at a horse window, a betting window at Aqueduct Racetrack at 5 was not a big deal. I grew up with animals. So like, I'm an animal.
Talk to me about Bstrong. What is Bstrong for folks who don't know it, and what made you decide to go there?
Started out with Hurricane Harvey, and I've been all over the world, from Puerto Rico to Guatemala to Mexico to North Carolina. We've worked in the Amazon, California fires, Australia. It's a very lean operation. 100% goes to the relief effort. But I've sent 53 planes into Puerto Rico with all kinds of aid, and 53 planes out with patients and desperate people to get out of there. Sent cargo ships, built schools, built homes, distributed millions of dollars of cash cards. I mean, we've done a lot. It's a new wave in philanthropy because 100% goes to the effort, because I pay my own way for expenses. We are in immediately, and we are nimble. We don't have to wait for permission. We don't have to play any political games. We don't have to fill out any forms. We go rogue, and we just go to where the aid is needed, and we get in and we figure it out. No private relief effort has ever done what we've done. I mean, that is factual. Really, it's crazy what we've done. I don't even know how. It's magic, but it's not. It's hard work, but it's once the ball gets rolling, if you keep all the balls in the air like business, you can do incredible things and help save thousands of lives.
Bethenny, do you ever get tired? Do you get exhausted?
I do prioritize health and just balance. I would never be doing all of that work and then like going out till 2 o'clock in the morning and burning myself into the ground. There is a balance. And I do yoga, I meditate, I walk on the beach, I go wakeboarding with my daughter, I lay in bed all day with my boyfriend. I balance it out.
All right, now talk to me a little bit about politics, because there's so much about you in terms of your willingness to go rogue, your willingness to throw down, your willingness to be creative, your willingness to be philanthropic that could make somebody say, is she gonna run? Are you thinking about running?
I don't know that much about politics, and I don't know that much about foreign policy. And so I wonder why people ask me, but I think they mention it because I get things done. And I think that that's basically what people want from politicians based on the fact that they've asked me. But by the same token, I don't think if I was a politician, I would be able to get the same amount of things done, because I don't get involved in bullshit and I don't get involved in politics. Everything is bipartisan, and I'm a bipartisan person. I don't even understand how the world could be otherwise.
If you had to guess, go forward whatever number you want to go forward, 10 years, 20 years, any sense of either where you could end up or what you would love to be doing? Is there something out there? I know the last 10, 12 years have been pretty magical, but is there something else out there that you would love to do that you haven't had a chance to do yet?
I would love to just host Saturday Night Live once in my life. But aside from that, and stand up maybe, just because it's fun and it's an outlet. I'll tell you something. I really did look at my financial situation when I decided to do a podcast, because I made the decision to go there, to not filter, to not be afraid, to not give a shit about what I wanted to say about anyone. if not being nasty for the sake of it, that's not who I am. But if I have an opinion about something and it's a weird alternative opinion, I don't care. I want to say it. I want to work in an outlet where everybody's not so damn scared. It's annoying. Everybody I know, I can't say that. I can't say that. It's the last thing I want to do if I'm doing a podcast. So I'm excited to create a forum and have an outlet to do that.
Tell me about this new TV show you're doing. Are you excited about it? Is it just something that you're gonna do because folks asked you to do it? Like, where does this line up in kind of who you are?
I'm excited about the show. Like, the big shot with Bethenny is to find my chief of staff or my successor, my person who can think like me, make decisions for me. And it's not like The Apprentice in the sense that these are my real businesses. I really have a relief effort. I really have salad dressings, popcorn, apparel, shapewear, HSN, speaking engagements, all these things I'm doing, a production company. I need a person, a number two, but the tasks are, will be so interesting because it's based on something really happening. Like, these are my real businesses. So it's not a manufactured task for Delta or some arbitrary thing. And my personal life is so infiltrated with my business life that will make it very different. We're not just in a stage boardroom. We're in my houses and my life. So I think it'll be a great show.
I love it. I have a feeling you're going to find someone good. I think you're going to be surprised who you find.
You sound like a fortune teller.
Yeah, I got a little fortune teller in me. No fear. I got a little fortune teller in me. If you've been following the tabloids or drama on her hit reality show, The Real Housewives of New York City, you probably already knew that finding love hasn't always been easy for Bethenny Frankel.
I get my way to the top. I can't even my way to the middle.
Never one to mince words, she's always been vocal about her struggles to meet Mr. Right. She even wrote a book on the subject. She's also been candid about her very messy divorce to businessman Jason Hoppy, with whom she shares a daughter, Bren. But it seems like these days the tides might be turning for Miss B. She appears to be striking it lucky in both business and in love.
I'm doing okay, and I'm doing okay. I'm always doing okay.
Pretend I'm Bethenny's best friend. Why is this woman who is beautiful, smart, creative, fun, why is she not like finding love, long-lasting love forever? What's the story?
Well, I have a serious boyfriend, and I did write the book. I think that's the title. I Suck at Relationships, So You Don't Have to. Yes, I did come up with that title. It's harder if you don't have a good example as a child of a great relationship. There's a baseline to people who have a foundation, and they have parents, and their parents are together, or they just have great, solid parents and a solid family unit. Those people, they don't think about doubt because they just know it's possible. So if you are living in a home with solid relationships and family units that are multi-generational, it comes more naturally to you.
How did you meet Mr. Wonderful? How did Paul come into your life?
Online.
Come on now.
Yup.
Come on, Bethenny.
Yup.
Are you serious?
I know. It's amazing. But yes, we met online. We talk about it, but we forget about it, and then we mention it again. I'm like, I met you online. We died. Because I'm old fat. I was never going. He was one of the first 3 people I met on there, and I was never going online. My girlfriend said, I go, what? That's not me. I would never do it. And I did it, and it was great. But it's that type of different thinking than I have that I do like, and it takes you on some other journey. I'll say some amazing idea to Paul. It's like a great idea. And then he'll just take it in a different direction because he's a producer, and he'll think of a different way. And I like that.
Favorite place you've ever visited? You probably have gotten to go to lots of good places. Where have you loved? Like, where still stays with you?
Ravello, Italy. It's not far from like Capri and Positano, but it's a town where you walk down these gorgeous stairs and you're in the 1800s. My boyfriend talks about it weekly. He's just like, he wants to live in Ravello.
What's the worst pitch anyone's ever come at you with?
A skinny shirt. Someone had a skinny shirt.
Who's the most interesting celeb you've met or gotten to know?
Mark Cuban's layered. He's polarizing, and I know people are opinionated about him and his politics, and so I would have only known him. Before I met him, I thought he was just sort of some arrogant billionaire. That's what I thought. I didn't know much about him. He seemed smart, but He seemed like a hot shot.
Last question. What's the best gift you've ever received?
Nobody does gifts like my boyfriend. Nobody in the world. I mean, I've never seen a flower game like his flower game. He always gives me some amazing, thoughtful, spectacular gift. I'm a great gift giver too. We're not talking about me, but so our gift game is pretty tight.
It's time for something really great. You know, we call it Spotlight. Always got to show you something new and different, a little fresh. This time it's a comedian. Her name is Sarah Cooper. She's having so much fun on TikTok, it's borderline illegal.
I aced it. I aced the test. And he should take the same exact test, a very standard test. I took it at Walter Reed Medical Center.
You know what the crime is. The crime is very obvious to everybody. All you have to do is read the newspapers, except yours. I don't use insulin. Should I be? Huh? I never thought about it. The European Union has ripped this country off so much, it's unbelievable.
Vanity Fair, by the way, just dubbed her the voice of a nation without even saying a word. Hey, Bethenny, thank you so much for being here. All right, that's it for us. I hate to go, but guess what? We're going to keep bringing you people that are worth your time. So stay tuned, tune in again, keep watching, tell a good friend. Hey, tune into the Carlos Watson Show. It's like no other. You're going to enjoy it every weekday on YouTube.